Okay, yeah. Okay, welcome in California, and everybody. This is day one of our Google Apps calendar class. We just watched the Anson Alexander calendar intro video 2013. There's a few changes that have been made in it, but it's pretty much accurate. So as Otis just said, there was a lot of information, right?
Right, but I can
Okay, does anybody think they now are experts on calendar?
No.
Okay, Cody, one person does. Huh?
I can be
Better.
Wait, who's the one person?
Right behind you.
Okay, I can do that.
So, what?
Sent an email at this blog stuff about this.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So the key is being able to effectively use your calendars. That's the key. And this is definitely one of these things, if you don't use it, you will lose it. I can promise you, if you get a job in a company and they do not use Google Calendars, and you get them to use Google Calendars, then I've got to be yellow. If you do that, then what will happen is that whole business will become more productive, and you will go up in value as somebody who's good in that company because you brought them an important tool. Do you think Rachel's Kitchen, all the employees are sharing a Google Calendar?
No.
No, I don't think so either. When I talked to her about the cloud, if our people learn the cloud, she kind of gave me this glazed look.
All right.
Okay?
Beautiful.
But she said she owns many businesses, right?
Right.
So it would be good for her to be having all of her calendars. Now, who can explain to me, maybe Victoria or somebody in California can explain the concept of multiple calendars that Anson talked about? How does that work? How does it look?
Hey, Ed, the ability to have all of your calendars at once, so you can plan your whole day in weeks or months or days in advance. You hear me, Ed?
Yep. Yes, I can.
Okay. Did you hear what I said?
Yes. So how does that look to somebody if they can see all calendars versus one? How do you know?
Different colors.
Right. Okay. So, you know, if you're looking at multiple calendars, the way I think of it is like I have a bunch of transparent calendars. They're like on clear plastic. And they're just all laid on top of one another. So I can see all of them at once, right? They're on a black or a white background. I have all of these clear ones. I just stack them on top of one another. The lines match up perfectly. And if I have multiple events on the same day, I can see it. And I can take out one piece of plastic and look at all of them or some of them or none of them at once. That's how the multiple calendars works. So in the old days, before the internet, when people had calendars, you had one calendar, right?
Right.
Remember that? Those days you'd have your pocket calendar or your day planner, your to-do list that was written. It would be one calendar. Okay? It would be one calendar. So we need to stop thinking differently. This is, we can have multiple calendars, and it's easy to add things to a different calendar. How would we do that? How would we add something to a different calendar?
Bring up that, create a new calendar, or go into your file and find the calendar you want to edit.
Okay, that's one way. What's another way? Because there's always more than one way to do things in Google. So Cody, since you know calendars, how do we do it? How do we add something to a different calendar?
You make a new event and put it under that calendar.
Unless it already
Okay, so let's say I go here and I click at 4 p.m. That pops up, right? Now what?
Where'd you go?
create event.
I just picked the time and just opened a dialog box.
You gotta fix the calendar, whatever
Exactly.
calendar you want to put it on.
So here's the good thing. So what Mark said is, you do this. You go to the calendar that you want, and then you just create an event.
So I said backwards.
No. What I said is, there's more than one way to do things in Google. What Nick just pointed out is, you just open this event and you change the calendar right here in this drop-down box. Okay, so do you see that, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I get to that? The one you're on is other calendars, and that's what I'm
No,
doing.
my calendar is open.
Okay, mine is too.
My calendar is open.
That's not
I click a time. Just click a time. Now, if I click the precise time, let's say I wanted to do something at 6 a.m. on Saturday. That's this box right here. I could just click in that box, and it's going to say, okay, Saturday, August 30th, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. What do you want to do?
And I don't get a drop down at all.
I don't.
I did.
What do you get?
I get
It's just a typing box.
Where?
Right next to
Okay, that's the same.
it. So it doesn't matter if it drops down any options.
Well, little bit of you go here. Okay.
That's what's in that already.
Okay. So you do have one less line, but because you don't have the what. So the key thing is you push on Edit Event, and the bigger dialog box opens up. But what I wanted to get to was answering the question: how do we add it to a different calendar? So on the other ones, it has the time. It does it say what? What's the top line if you just click on an open space?
It's it just says what?
Okay, so it says what, but it doesn't ask you what calendar.
No, but above it says
Create
when.
event or edit?
So now if you go to Edit Event,
And if I ask you which calendar, right?
dialogue.
then right here, what do you have? Calendar.
Right.
Just
The name.
Okay, but if you go to the arrow next to it and click on that, all of your other calendars show up. All of the other calendars that are shared with you or that you own show
I
up.
know we only have one because we haven't.
Okay, so new people have one. Tomorrow we will create 2 more. Okay, so here's the important thing to remember. When you have a Google account, a Gmail account, they give you your free personal calendar. Treat that as your personal calendar. Don't treat it as your school calendar or your work calendar. So under the concept of multiple calendars, tomorrow you're going to have 2 more calendars, or maybe 3.
So right now, we just
School.
So right now,
Well, you don't need a school.
Just to affirm, we just have my calendar.
Okay. Well, you should have LV Campus. That's shared with you.
No, but I bet you if I look on, if I just click the arrow,
You click
And
on
I
it and
Oh, there it is.
create new calendar.
Okay? So to create an event, you can click anywhere on the calendar, or you can, again, in Google, there's always more than one way to do things. So you can just click anywhere on any day. I go back,
So that's even that's
and I click on, let's say, December 10th of this year. I can click here, go to Edit Event, and when it says what day do I want this event to occur, I can go all the way back to today. To today's date, I could set it for today.
And if there's already something
So
there,
anywhere you are on the calendar, you open it, you create an event, or you edit an event, and then it starts with this page here. And like other Google things, it starts with untitled event. What's always the first thing we do in these things?
title.
Create a title. And when it's on your calendar, you want to make sure, like if you're looking at the calendar, you want to make sure that the event is clear. Don't start by saying meeting, because then you have to open it to find out who it is. So you might say, you know, Rachel's Kitchen. Oh yeah, I've got a meeting at Rachel's Kitchen because it'll show you. You fill in the date, time. We'll go through this tomorrow, whether it's all day, if it's a repeat. Where is it?
and that's when you can pick the color.
And down here is where you pick, ultimately you pick the calendar. You have any description, you can add an attachment, You can invite other people to that. Who do you want at that, whatever is happening at that time. There's a bunch of other stuff that you can do. We'll talk more about tomorrow because we're almost at break. But you know, the takeaway, the thing is, calendars are a great, vital, important tool, and you should use them as that great, vital, important tool. You should use it every day. So if I say to you, Victoria, complete the rest of this sentence. If you don't know where you're going, what? No. If you don't know where you're going, what? What's the rest of that, Victoria?
Sorry, you're there.
If you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there.
Sorry.
If you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. Now the Navy SEALs will have part 2, which is if you don't know where you are, you can't get there anyway. Right? And there's a special forces exercise they do is they get you in a helicopter, they fly you around for a couple hours, you're blindfolded, you don't know where you are, and they'll drop you off somewhere and say, okay, now get back to wherever. Let's say they drop you and say, get back to middle desert, get back to Las Vegas. If you don't know where you are, how do you know where Las Vegas is? It could be north, south, east, or west.
You don't know. You don't know.
You don't know.
Right.
So the key thing is you have to know where you want to go, and you have to know where you are. And a calendar is a thing that helps you do that. We'll talk more about that with maps. Yeah. Yes.
I know you told us, and I looked and was able to find it. But when I started the video, I didn't see the guy's name that did this talk on the calendar.
His name is Anson Alexander.
And he does something on YouTube on all the
On all of them. A lot of people do. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. In California, are there any questions I can answer?
Any questions, anyone? California seem to be okay.
The questions in Long Beach. Thank you.
What is it? Oh, no questions in Long Beach. Okay. Dennis, what time do people start looking at their calendars in Santa Fe Springs?
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning they do it there. Okay, good. And what about in Long Beach, Graciela?
We have a new student today, and for Rachel, I think this is the first time they do the 9 o'clock. Oh, at 9 o'clock? She said 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. So, does anybody not like calendars? Does anybody say, I can't do this?
No, I'm not going. You know what? Yeah, I'm knocking that off. I'm done with that thing.
Good.
I don't care.
Good.
You know, I can find.
I should say hoorah.
I can find out. I can find out.
Okay. Calendars are extremely important. When you go to work, when they're observing you, what did Kathy Wilson say about what they look at? What's the most important time for them with somebody new?
when they tell you,
get a second chance at a first.
No, but when is the most important time with somebody new?
Punctuality, she said. I heard
After you
No.
stop being the best that you can be.
Well, what I heard her say was, we know during the first week you're going to be gung-ho. We wait and see what you're going to be like the second week.
right, first month, and that's the
Okay.
time to be looking for your shine.
If you go into your place and you start off and you start your first day of work and they say, oh, here's your computer, get it set up. You're in there, you get your calendar, they see you whip out your calendar and they do it. They're going to say, wow, this person's organized. Wow. Now let's say you sit down and the first thing you do is you put on your headphones and they see you finding your music station. Not good. Okay? So people are always watching what you're doing, even when you think they're not watching. And as Kathy Wilson said, they're watching people the second week. What do they do at Zappos? When are they watching you?
All the whole time. Like even
No,
before
when
you
you're
go.
on your job interview day. We talked about this.
before you get to the interview. So they watch
No.
you in the car. They watching you.
When they drive you back to the airport in the van,
How you treat me.
they call the van guy in and said, what was he like when you drove him back to the airport? Because that's when his guard is down.
That's what I mean.
Huh?
Were you not the same person in the interview?
Exactly. Before you
That
were
was
here.
Before you were here.
Okay, that's what they do. People are always watching. Especially Martians. Martians are always watching. Okay, everybody, it's break time. And Hero School is supposed to be starting. Is Tiger Todd out there?
I thought Hero School was on Tuesdays.
It is, but this is
Q&A,
a follow-up
Q&A.
to the Saturday. Okay, well, thank you, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow at the same place. Here, everybody,